welcome to Too Many Hobbies. My name's Jeremy, and this is one of my many hobbies, small steam engines. This is the Wilesco brand, and the model is a D16 EL. D16 is kind of like the family, and EL just stands for electric. Most of these are fueled with a solid fuel tablet, sort of like a Sterno or Espit brand. I really like these because they do a really good job of mimicking something that was like in a factory or some sort of power plant or something. Let's move the camera and we'll get you a closer look. Alright, here we are at the business end of the D16. We'll just kind of spin it around here. Mine has been modified. I've restored this. This was a pretty rusty thing when I got it. Most important thing, of course, is new power cord. That's really helpful for safety. If you get one of these and the power cord's at all questionable, replace it. Got your sight glass here. This pretty much everything is the same with a standard Wilesco D16 except for the actual heater element, which is tucked up underneath the boiler here. And as you see, there is no burner, even though the base plate is the same for one with a burner. Modifications I've made to mine are I've made an extra large water basin here. This is the original water basin that holds the waste water that comes off the cylinder. And with this unit, you can get a much longer run time, and I didn't want to be emptying this all the time, so I put a much longer one in here. Holds a lot. We got a silicone rubber tube here. Works great. As we spin it around here, I just added this on the side just with my little label there, Wilesco D16 EL, just so I could remember what it was. But you've got a name or a voltage plaque here, which is 110 volt, 250 watt. In my research on these, they came with a few different wattages, but nothing too serious. On Wilesco's really large engines, like the D32, which is their biggest, those are only electrically fired. The smokestack here is fake. This is an older one that doesn't have any of the water vapor come up through here. That's actually a good thing because then it keeps it nice and dry and doesn't rot out. On the top of the boiler, we've got this is a more modern steam whistle than this would have came with, but I'm okay with that. And the very important safety valve. Never want to operate one without these. You always want to have a safety valve here. On the back side, nothing too special here. Just the back end of the boiler and the business end of the steam engine part of it here. We've got a couple pulleys, and Wilesco and other companies sell small little tin toys that can be powered off this, or you can build something. I built something with Legos a couple times, and that's pretty fun to do. Here's the actual steam engine. This is an older style of steam engine. This was probably from the early to mid 70s. Maybe late 70s, I'm not really sure. The later ones have a different type of covering on them and whatnot, but this is a fake, supposed to be a governor with the flyweights. This is just fake, just for looks. And we got the actual piston there, and flywheel, of course. And right here is where we add steam oil. I'll talk about that in a little bit. This is your throttle. When the engine is cooling down, you want to have this closed all the way because you don't want any oil that's in here to flow back up into the boiler, because that just makes it a mess. Okay, so things that will help you run this steam engine. Probably the most important thing is steam engine oil. You can buy this from Wilesco, or you can use a very heavy, almost 600W. It doesn't mean 600 weight, but it's 600W is a good substitute. You can also just search online for steam engine oil, but Wilesco sells some. This is not their bottle. This was from yesteryear's Toys and Books Incorporated, which I don't think is in business anymore. Generally, with the Wilesco steam engine, you will get a small funnel. This is great for filling up the engine, makes it much quicker. Usually you get a wrench. That's good for tightening up some of these fittings that are around here that you see, so that works good. You also want to use distilled water. Why distilled water? Well, you will get calcium buildup and whatnot in the sight glass and in the boiler if you use regular tap water, so it's just better to use distilled water. Some things that can help you operate the steam engine, make life easier. I've just got a basic syringe type thing here with a plastic insert. I can use this to remove water from the boiler when you're done, because it's not good to let it sit in there. This is a brass boiler, I believe, brass or copper. So that's really useful. You can also use it to add water to it. Makes life much easier. Or you can go like I did, just get a really big one and suck that sucker right out. But that is pretty much it. For the electric one, what's handy to have is, it's called a variac. It's a variable voltage supply for it. This will work just fine plugging it into the 110 volt power, but the heater is quite hot, so it would run it at a hot temperature, and the safety valve would be going off all the time, which is not a problem, but you know, it's like running it with a really large flame under it. So for this, I kind of built my own. This is a standard variac piece here, and I've just got the output on it and a power switch and all kinds of fancy stuff. But that's what I'll be using in today's run, and we're going to run this today for you. So first off, let's fill it up. I generally like to fill it to about half, because especially with the variac, you can get a much longer run time. You can run this easy an hour or more with the amount of water this holds, and if you're not burning a real hot fire or hot temperature. There we go, I've got it filled to about halfway. Put my safety valve in here. Doesn't have to be super tight. Hook up the power. Here's another thing that can be handy. These things tend to kind of sling oil around and let it fly. So because I don't want to get oil all over my railroad track back there, I will add this splatter shield. As you can see, it's gotten some use. Well, let's see here. Actually, that's the other side. Let's put it the right way around. As you can see, this has gotten some use before. I also have this on a tile. Because it's electric heated, I don't have to have it on a tile, but it's just kind of nice just to protect the surface of whatever you got it on. Okay, I'm going to start a timer, and we'll see how long it takes to build some steam. I have added oil to this. This is just a little cavity in here. It's good to add oil when you're done to it too, just to keep the piston and the slide valve lubricated here. You can kind of see some of it in the silicone tube here. The valve is shut, and things are starting to get warm. Okay, there we got a little bit. Seven minutes, let's see what we got. Doing good. We're building some good heat here. 8 minutes. I think we're pretty much ready to run. Let's see if she'll fire up. Let me just reset the camera here. So about 8 minutes to steam. That's not bad at all. Okay. Turn it on here. Oh. Piston came loose a little bit. Or the rod did. Alright. I want to go forward, not backwards. Okay, let's pause the trains here. We'll get this one out of the way. Okay, let's kind of spin this around, or make sure we're in focus here. Now I have, right now we still got the boiler going full blast, but we really don't need to. Now I have put new bushings in here, which helps out tremendously with the noise and how well this runs. Also, I replaced the slide valve and the piston itself, but not the cylinder. So it runs very well. Also very fast. You can see some fresh splatters here. Let's get you in a little closer. It will go quite slow. And also go reverse as well. Open up a bit. So I'm just varying the throttle here. You can see the water boiling here. Now to get a longer run time, I can turn the voltage down to maybe about 80% of it, and we'll still have enough water, still have enough steam to do what we want to do. This is just a relaxing toy to use. Of course, this is all very hot. You don't want to touch it. Okay, we are pretty much out of steam here. I got the electricity shut off, and we are pretty much done. So what do you want to do to get this cleaned up and ready for next time? First off, shut the valve. You don't want anything going back up into the boiler. We are still quite hot here, but if you have a gloved hand or whatnot, we'll release all the pressure just so things cool off here. Alright, pressure is removed. And again, this is safe to do, especially because everything's unplugged. This is the pressure valve, by the way. Got a little spring on the end of it. we'll leave that to vent there. And we'll also pull off this guy. This guy will be pretty warm. That's the cap for the oiler here. And we'll just drizzle some oil in. We'll leave this valve shut. We'll put some oil in here and we'll rotate it until I see it come out the tube over here. We'll just put as much as it will take in there. It'll eventually kind of hydrolock a little bit, but that's okay. There, it's coming through. What this also does is it pushes out the water from the cylinder. Now I'll clean up my mess. Stuff's still hot around here, but another thing you want to do is you want to clean up what's underneath the underneath here. Like I said, this does tend to sling some oil underneath, so it's good to get in there with a paper towel or a Q-tip and clean it off, just to get things ready for the next time. Now all we have to do is wait till the boiler cools, and then we can remove the water out of there. Like I said, I like to use a small little syringe and suck the water out and let the boiler dry out, and then it's ready for next time. You keep it nice now, it's going to last for generations. Well, I hope you enjoyed this look at the Wilesco D16 EL. It is much more convenient and to use without the solid fuel, but the solid fuel is also kind of fun because you can, with the solid fuel, you can vary the height of the flame and whatnot. And I do have a D18 with a little generator on it and a little light post that runs on solid fuel. So when I get that out, I'll do a video of that as well. If you got any other questions, let me know. The Wilesco line, built in Germany, they just make a lot of cool different engines, and maybe one day I'll save up the money and buy a D32, but I don't know, that's a little crazy. That one's got a big boiler and 2 engines and a water pump to refeed the boiler and all kinds of crazy stuff, and pressure gauges and all kinds of neat stuff. So until next time, thanks a lot for watching. I hope you check out the rest of the channel.